And hi, Coach Jay. My name is Angelica S. Amador, and I am the little teacher of Study Hub number 9. And these are my members: Crisel Francisco, Norcadija Ahmad, Christine Francisco, and Rizame Toribio. We will be going to report the Module 3. The title is 10 Theories Principles, and my topics are Psychoanalytic and Psychosexual by Sigmund Freud and Cognitive Theory by Jean Piaget. Psychoanalytic is the theory of personality organization and the dynamics of personality development that guides psychoanalysis, a clinical method for treating psychopathology, first laid out by Sigmund Freud in the late 19th century. Psychoanalytic theory has undergone many refinements since his work. Freud's psychosexual theory states the 5 stages of human development: oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. These psychosexual stages capture the main growth points of a person from infancy to adulthood and focus on different facets of wants, needs, and desires. During the 5 psychosexual stages, which are the oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital stages, the erogenous zone associated with each stage serves as a source of pleasure. The psychosexual energy or libido was described as the driving force behind behavior. Psychoanalytic theory suggested that personality is mostly established by the age of 5. Early experiences play a large role in personality development and continue to influence behavior later in life. Freud believed that personality developed through a series of childhood stages in which the pleasure-seeking energies of the id become focused on certain erogenous areas. An erogenous zone is characterized as an area of the body that is particularly sensitive to stimulation. The Theory of Cognitive Development by Jean Piaget, the Swiss psychologist, suggests that children's intelligence undergoes changes as they grow. Cognitive development in children is not only related to acquiring knowledge. Children need to build or develop mental model of their surrounding world. He proposed that children's thinking does not develop entirely smoothly. Instead, there are certain points at which it takes off and moves into completely new areas and capabilities. He saw these transitions as taking place at about 18 months, 7 years, and 11 or 12 years. Specifically, he posited that as children's thinking develops from one stage to the next, their behavior also changes. Reflecting this cognitive developments, the stages in his theory follow a specific order, and each subsequent stage only occurs after the one before it. The next reporter is Christine Francisco. She will be going to report about the theory of Erik Erikson and Lev Vygotsky.
Good day everyone, I am Christine Francisco, belong to Study Hub number 9, the reporter for today. And I will be discussing to you the theory of Erik Erikson, the psychosocial theory of development, and Lev Vygotsky, the social theory. Who is Erik Erikson? Erik Erikson was a German-American developmental psychologist and psychoanalyst known for his theory on psychological development of human beings. He coined the phrase identity crisis. What is psychosocial theory of development? Psychosocial theory of development explains changes in self-understanding, social relationship, and one's relationship to society from infancy through later life. Erik Erikson is the primary theorist identified with the development of psychosocial theory. Psychosocial theory is development including identity formation, social relationships, and worldview across the lifespan. According to the psychosocial theories, development is a product of an ongoing interaction between individuals and their social environment. Who is Lev Vygotsky? Lev Vygotsky was a Soviet psychologist known for his work on psychological development in children. Lev Vygotsky theory, the sociocultural theory. What is sociocultural theory? Sociocultural theory is considered primarily a developmental theory. It focuses on changes in behavior over time, specifically on changes that occur as individuals mature from infancy to childhood, to adolescence, and finally to adulthood. There are three fundamental concepts that define sociocultural theory. Number one, social interaction plays an important role in learning. Number two, language is an essential tool in the learning process. Number three, learning occurs with the zone of proximal development.
So good day everyone, my name is Crisel Di Francisco and I will be discussing to you the theory of Bronfenbrenner. So who is Bronfenbrenner? Bronfenbrenner was a Russian-born American psychologist who is most known for his ecology system theory. His work with the United States government helped in the formation of the Head Start program in 1967. Ecological theory suggests that resource availability of light, water, and nutrients places a large constraint on the relative advantage of different kinds of tissues development, from ecology and agriculture. So Bronfenbrenner ecological system theory focuses on the quality and context of the child's environment. He states that as a child develops, the interaction with this environment becomes more complex. This complexity can rise as the child's physical and cognitive growth and mature. So how it can apply in the classroom? For teaching purposes, teacher can use the method to create personalized learning experiences for students. The system supports teachers and school administrators to develop school environments that are suitable for students' needs, characteristics, culture, and family background. So what is the example of theory? An example of Bronfenbrenner biological model would be the relationship between a child's home life and a child's relationship with their friends. If a child is raised in a home where they are neglected and are unloved, then he may develop certain characteristics. He may feel as tough and it's hard to trust people. So that was Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. So next is Ivan Pavlov. So his theory was classical conditioning. So what is classical conditioning? Classical conditioning, also known as Pavlovian or respondent conditioning, is a behavioral procedure in which a biologically potent stimulus of food is paired with a previously mental stimulus of triangle. So classical conditioning was first studied by physiologist Ivan Pavlov. In classical conditioning, a person or animal learns to associate a neutral stimulus, the conditioned stimulus or CS, with a stimulus, the unconditioned stimulus or US, that naturally produce a behavior, the unconditioned response or UR. So how it can apply in the classroom? Teacher can apply classical conditioning in the class by creating a positive classroom environment to help students overcome anxiety and fear. Pairing an anxiety-provoking situation such as performing in front of the group with pleasant surroundings help the student learn new associations. So what is the example of theories? The most famous example of classical conditioning was Ivan Pavlov's experiment with dogs, who celebrated in response to a bell tone. Pavlov showed that when a bell was sounded each time the dog was fed, the dog learned to associate the sound with the presentation of the food. So that is Ivan Pavlov theories.
Hi everyone, my name is Criza Meiji Toribio and I am from the Study Hub 9, and today I will discuss to you my topics, which is about operant conditioning by B.F. Skinner and multiple intelligence theory by Howard Gardner. Skinner or Burrhus Frederick Skinner is born on March 20, 1904 and died on August 18, 1990. So, he was an American psychologist, behaviorist, author, inventor, and social philosopher. So, he was a professor of psychology at Harvard University from 1958 until his retirement in 1976. So, what is operant conditioning? Operant conditioning is a type of associative learning process through which the strength of a behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. It is also a procedure that is used to bring about such learning. So, the basic concept behind operant conditioning is that a stimulus antecedent, it leads to behavior, which then leads to a consequence. This form of conditioning involves reinforcers, both positive and negative, as well as primary, secondary, and generalized. So, primary reinforcers are things like food, shelter, and water. And the secondary reinforcers are stimuli that get conditioned because of their association with the primary reinforcers. Then, generalized reinforcers occurs when a secondary reinforcer pairs with more than one primary reinforcer. For example, working for money can increase a person's ability to buy a variety of things like TVs, cars, house, and etc. So, how to apply classical conditioning in classroom? So, teachers can apply classical conditioning in the classroom by creating a positive classroom environment to help students overcome anxiety or fear, and pairing an anxiety-provoking situation such as performing in front of a group with pleasant surroundings help the student learn new associations. So, example of operant conditioning is that offering praise when they do something positive, giving them a piece of candy when they clean their room, and letting them play video games after they complete their homework. So the next is multiple intelligence theory by Howard Gardner. So Howard Gardner or Howard Earl Gardner is born on July 11, 1943. He is an American developmental psychologist and the John H. and Elizabeth A. Hobbs Research Professor of Cognition and Education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. He is currently the Senior Director of Harvard Project Zero, and since 1995, he has been the co-director of the Good Project. So what is multiple intelligence? Multiple intelligence refers to a theory describing the different ways students learn and acquire information. This multiple intelligence range from the use of words, numbers, pictures, and music to the importance of social interaction, introspection, physical movement, and being in tune with nature. So, in order to capture the full range of abilities and talents that people possess, Gardner theorized that people do not have just an intellectual capacity but have many kinds of intelligence, including musical, interpersonal, spatial, visual, and linguistic intelligence. So, multiple intelligence theory is applied in classroom by getting to know your student better and expand upon traditional activities, linguistic and logical mathematical. So, example of this is word, linguistic intelligence, number or logical mathematical intelligence, pictures, spatial intelligence, music, musical intelligence, and self-reflection, intrapersonal intelligence. And that's all about my topic. So Thank you and have a nice day.
Good evening, Coach. I am Narkadija J. Ahmad from BTBT FSM 1K. So, my role in this video presentation is to tackle the metacognitive intelligence theory. So, theories, metacognitive knowledge involves information that involves know and can be utilized to control thought processes. Metacognitive regulation consists of monitoring and adjusting thought processes and includes the actions individuals take to control their thought processes. The theory, metacognitive intelligence. Definition of terms. Definition of terms. Metacognitive theory is a theory of knowledge that is interested in how humans can actively monitor and regulate their own thoughts processes. According to the Flavel, the theory's founder, some people are more capable of control over their minds than others. Contribution of the education. The uses of metacognitive thinking and strategies enable students to become flexible, creative, and self-directed learners. Metacognition particularly assists in students with additional educational needs in understanding learning tasks, in self-organizing, and in regulating their own learning. Summary of the theory. Consider founding the father of metacognition theory. Flavel based his reasoning on the idea that individuals possess knowledge of their cognitive processes. Further, some individuals are better capable of regulating these cognitive processes than others. Applications. So, metacognitive strategies empower students to think about their own thinking. This awareness of the learning process enhances their control over their own learning. It also enhances personal capacity for self-regulation and managing how your own motivation for learning. Example as applied in the learning processes. Example of metacognitive activities includes planning how to approach a learning task, using appropriate skills and strategies to solve a problem, monitoring one's own comprehensions of text, self-assessing and self-correcting in response to the self-assessment, evaluating process toward the completion of a task, and becoming aware of distracting stimuli. Number 10. Laws of learning theory. So theories, Edward Lee Thorndike was a professor of American psychology, a discipline of William James, who developed a series of laws about trial and error learning. Thorndike's theories are considered as the predecessor of American behaviorism that would find its maximum exponent in the figure of Skinner, father of opponent conditioning. The theory, laws of learning. Definition of terms. The learning theory of Thorndike represents the original SR framework of behavioral psychology. Learning is the result of association forming between stimuli and response. Such associations or habits become strengthened or weakened by the nature of frequency of the SR pairing. Contribution to education. Thorndike, 1905, introduced the concept of reinforcement and was the first to apply psychological principles to the area of learning. His research led to many theories and how of learning such as operant conditioning. Summary of the theory. The theory suggests that transfers of learning depends upon the presence of identical elements in the original and new learning situations. Transfer is always specific, never general. In later versions of the theory, the concept of belongingness was introduced. Connections are more readily established if the person perceives that stimuli or response go together. Application. Connectism was meant to be a general theory of learning for animals and humans. Thorndike was especially interested in the application of his theory to education, including mathematics. Thorndike, 1922, Spelling and Reading. Thorndike, 1921, Measurement of Intelligence. Thorndike, 1927, and Adult Learning. Thorndike at 1928. Example as applied in the learning process. The classic example of Thorndike SR theory was a cat learning to escape from a puzzle box by pressing a lever inside the box. After much trial and error behavior, the cat learns to associate pressing the lever S with opening the door R. This SR connection is established because it results in a satisfying state of affairs. Escape from the box. So that's all. Thank you.